My name is Adeshola Raphael Adejare. My friends call me Shola. It's my favorite personality because every creative person is crazy and we have so many different personalities. I'm a Nigerian-born, British-based fashion designer. Moved to London less than 10 years ago. I've just graduated fashion degree from London College of Fashion, which is my second degree. My first degree being sociology and anthropology. It just helps me articulate why I am very interested in socio-cultural aspects of particularly fashion. Fashion is very important for me because it's not just a thought, I believe it is a media that I think a lot of people still don't understand the inherent power that it holds. I'm no longer a student, but rather I've started a brand. I can't believe it. It's like being pregnant and just having a baby. So that's how I feel. I feel like I have a baby and I don't know how to treat my baby. Understand exactly what kind of person I want this baby to be and not just push that baby out because that's what everyone does. So away from babies, I wanted to take my time to create a collection that reflected how I was feeling. Sometimes it's very subtle, sometimes I slap you over the head with it. Always comes back to how can I express this emotion in a way that resonates with other people, and then it becomes a conversation. My brand is from a place of emotions, from a place of feeling, because my feelings are colored along the lines of being anxious, depressive. I need to be very honest about that. For me, it's not even only about the designs of it, or also about like facilitating conversations that make people think or rethink what they think is true or what they think is right. I don't like labels. It's those stereotypes I don't like. Let people breathe, let people live, and that's my thing, that's my belief. And if all I can do is start with clothes and start that as a way for people to rethink how they treat themselves and treat others, my work in the world is done.
My name is Hunter McFarlane. I'm from Canada. So I'm from an area where fashion doesn't really exist. I didn't do fashion growing up either. I was nearly pro level involved in sports. I come from more of a science background. So I've always wanted to do this because it felt like no matter what I wore to school, I was always made fun of as a kid. I think I expressed myself best through what I was wearing. I came to London in 2017 to study. So I started off with doing like my levels and like foundation. And then I went into an undergrad doing menswear fashion design and technology. And that was really intense. So I studied at London College of Fashion. I've actually never had school make me so motivated and ambitious in my entire life. So I think just coming here changed my view of the whole world. When graduating, I formed a collective with 6 others, including myself 7, called the London 7, and we showed in London Fashion Week here, and then that's kind of where my brand sort of took off. My brand's called Gundog Studio. So my name's Hunter, and Gundog's another word for hunter. During school, I got involved in some shitty experiences with gun violence. I had a stalker threatening to shoot me. Then one day, I was shot at in the park. And so it was kind of me reclaiming the name Gundog and keeping it powerful like that. A lot of the stuff I do is working with destruction and fire and kind of material sciences. Yeah. So in this September, I'm actually doing a double master's in engineering. So my first collection was called The Arsonist, and it was about protesting the working conditions of firefighters, researching the cancers they get on the job. My dad, he was a platoon chief with the fire service back where I'm from. He had many friends die of different cancers on the job growing up. For me, it was about bringing awareness to both the mental factors and also the physical factors. So I worked with like new standard materials that were just brought to Europe, and I tested them by setting people on fire. I guess all my stuff are, in a way you could say, passion projects. My goal one day is, after I do my master's and eventually I want to do a PhD, is to be able to design a type of textile that can be used in hospitals, similar to skin graft that helps cancer patients. Using the fashion element to like advertise. No one actually focuses on these things because they're not, especially people who don't get the science behind it, because it's not interesting to look at. But when you create something interesting, so that's the kind of purpose of what my company is.
I am Bryce Albor, a Spanish fashion designer. I came from Santiago de Compostela, it's from the north of Spain. And I recently graduated from the MA Fashion at Centro San Martis. I did my BA in fashion design in Santiago, in my hometown. And then I continued through an Erasmus course in the Accademia delle Arti di Brera in Milan. If I need to use a label to describe my work, I could call my collection menswear, but I don't believe in label or gender restrictions. So for this, through my designs, I would like to speak to an audience willing to explore their persona, their sexuality and sensibility, what I call the love revolution. Fashion nowadays is not really real because, you know, all the models, you know, there is only these brands that use these white skinny girls. I want to make the people who wear my garments feel powerful and strong. My collection that could be defined like masculine menswear collection, I created in the most unmasculine way, you know, just to try to create this new identity. Another important part of this collection, I think, is the story about behind the shoes. The shoes was made for this company called Atelier Vanilla, and when they decided to launch this brand that at the beginning was oriented for trans women because the shoes was from 40 to 46. I asked them, why you are selling just heels for women if everyone can wear heels? They make these shoes especially for me, and we are open now with these collaborations, and probably the new collections is going to be designed by me. I think that the fashion needs to change. The fashion don't need labels. The fashion just need more sizes. I would like to have my own brand, and my aim to welcome the customer with open arms, define my future brand. I want, you know, this brand beloved for the world because my brand gives love to them. I want to spread love everywhere. I don't want to be, you know, something that is gonna die 6 months later that I launch. No, I mean, I want to have this kind of wardrobe that maybe in the future my nieces, they just open their wardrobe. Oh, look, this furry coat. Oh, it's from the grandfather, yes. And you can wear it even, you know, 60 years later.
Hi, my name's Brittany Campbell. I am Jamaican born, raised in Dudley in the UK. I started my brand during COVID, pretty much like everyone else. So in a way, COVID was a blessing in a secret disguise. But I feel like now with styling and society and the creative industry, everyone's more able to be more free and creative. And in terms of styling, like it's pretty much no rules at this point, which I very much enjoy because it gives me a lot more creative freedom. And because I'm a trained tailor, I feel like I take a lot more care and attention to how I'm putting things together, how it's stitched together, the materials I'm using, because I want to make staples that people have in their family for generations that they're able to hand down. So the green dress I actually made from the green material that I used for my final year collection, a jumper. So I didn't throw any of my material away from my final year collection. I kept all of it because I knew one day I was going to go back to it and reuse it in an ethical way. Like, I don't only just want to do clothing. I want to do a lot of charity work and workshops and events. And I also want to teach people how they can revamp their clothing. I do hope one day I can have like a shop or a store where people can come drop their garments off. I can revamp it with a team of my like colleagues, and they can come back and like kind of pay like a one-off payment and get all their clothes back, and it's going to be completely revamped. I want to put quality out there, not just quantity. My influence comes straight from my parents, honestly, especially my mum, because she's handed down so many amazing staple garments and pieces to me. She's always just been that natural source of inspiration, and like when it comes to sketches, I'm like, oh, would my mum wear this? Would my mum like this? Especially like the 90s era. That's my style, is like 90s bashment modern, and I think that's really where I am. And also my dad's a big inspiration. My auntie Michelle and my nan are also big inspirations because they've also given me amazing pieces in terms of topics. It will be bashment, 90s, early 2000s / Y2K, because I'm a 97 baby, so I missed the core 90s. And then I was kind of really like in it in the 2000s. So yeah, that's where my inspiration lies.
Hi, so my name is Patricia Moreno. I'm a fashion designer. I graduated last year. My graduate collection was called Material. It was a conceptual pattern cutting project that was trying to capture the way that when people look at the past, they see it in a distorted view. We tend to look at the past as if it was better than the present, and I wanted my garments to evoke the emptiness and nostalgia for things you've never experienced, but in a distorted way. So the garments look like they're constantly moving, but also stuck in time. I explored corduroy in the direction of the wales, which is the little indents that have it in the corduroy. My garments were mostly made of draped fabric and with the contrasting wales to create a different texture. I was trying to really use the Gutsai art movement, and an artist called Vieira da Silva's work, and I felt like Vieira da Silva's work was very mechanical, and that related to the wales and the corduroy and the texture that I was trying to portray. And the Gutsai art movement, it had a lot of expression, so because I feel like a lot of people don't see like textiles and fabric as an art form, but I was trying to do that with my graduate collection. Almost like a moving, static painting, if it makes sense. So I'm from the southern coastline. I'm from Sines. You know, in general, I think Portugal is a country that kind of thrives on sadness and nostalgia. Everything about like classic literature, paintings, you know, it's very much about what we don't have anymore. And growing up in that kind of environment, I think that, you know, I don't like to shy away from hard feelings such as nostalgia and sadness and that kind of stuff. I think it's part of life. And if you give it too much weight and think, oh no, I don't want to think about sad things, I think you're not doing very good for yourself. You shouldn't just accept positivity in your life. I think it can be balanced, and that's not a bad thing. What a poet.
Alright, so my name is Serena Perez. I'm half French, half American. I did my master's in art direction. The whole combo of art direction and fashion was kind of to be able to like build my own brand and kind of, you know, like know more than just sewing and kind of know like the basics of like, constructing a whole like image around your brand. And yeah, the more I make pieces, the more I know who I am within the fashion industry. So like I'm still creating things at the moment and trying to figure out what I would want to put out there. All of my pieces are super personal. Like my inspiration come from storytelling, you know, either like family or my ethnicities, my origins and stuff like that, or just traveling. And yeah, my mom, who's American, her ethnicities are Filipino, but I've never really been able to get in touch with that culture because she grew up in the States. And then yeah, our whole family, like she doesn't speak Tagalog or anything. My grandmother did, but I would like barely see her since we lived abroad. Yeah, for that one collection, I was just like researching all these things about the Philippines, the culture and the traditional clothes and stuff, and I really like picked from that, try to like use it. Yeah, it's actually crazy because I also used to see photos of my family, like my grandmother when she was younger and stuff like that. And she, like, I remember when I was little seeing her dresses and stuff, but I had no idea it was specifically traditional Filipino clothing. Some of the pieces, you know, are genderless because I love the fact that you don't have to think, okay, this is gonna be women's wear, let me just make this very feminine or tight. Yeah, I just want to do my own thing and make a collection with whatever I want in it. You can totally put that in.